Hello, welcome to Prepclass Tutors. I am Abel Godwin. So today we're going to be looking at some mathematics past questions for the year 2020, and our focus will be on questions number 10 to number 6 to 10. But just then, before we proceed, please don't forget like and comment on our videos. Yes, like and comment on our videos to give us that moral support we need to keep us going. So, without wasting much time, I would like us to move straight ahead to question number 6. Okay, it says, if 1 base 2 plus 12 base y is equivalent to 23 base 5, find the value of y. So, in a much better or clearer way to see this is written in this format, because I know some people will be thinking that this y is multiplied to this 12. No, it's some sort of base here. So now we have 101 base 2, 12 base y, and 23 base 5. And we are asked that if this is equivalent to this, what is now the value of y? In other words, in what base is number 12 expressed? So what we need to do is just to convert this and give it a common base, say base 10. And as you can see, to do that, to convert a particular number to base 10, you pick the first number, multiply it by the base, raised to a power of, counting number of digits here, there are 3, deduct 1 from the 3, you have 2. So that's why this is to the power of 2. Then subsequent ones, you just keep repeating the numbers in that order, but the power keeps getting reduced by 1 continually. So this happens to be our old way that we knew back then from our junior primaries and some to even their primary level. So it's still the same concept, nothing has changed, we just build upon it. So now, regarding this, you treat it in the same manner. We'll pick 1 times y raised to power 1, as you can see, plus the next number is 2. This is 2. Now, our base of y will reduce by a power of 1, as you can see, from 1 to 0. And we do the same thing on the right-hand side of our equality sign. So now, by the time we finish doing this, all we need to do is to carry out the additions here. So we have 1 times 2 raised to power 2, which is 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. And here we have 0 times 2, and of course 0. And here we have 1 times 2 raised to the power of 0. Anything raised to the power of 0 is going to give us 1, except 0 itself. So here we're basically saying 1 times 1, which is 1. Now for here, we have 1 times y raised to the power 1. So we're indirectly saying 1 times y, which is y. And here, we're saying 2 times y raised to the power 0, which is like saying 2 times 1. And this is 2. So to the other side of the equation, we have 2 times 5, which is 10, plus 3 times, this is exactly 1, which is 3. And now adding together, we have 4 plus 0 plus 1, which is 5, plus y, plus 2. So this gives us 7. You just add the numbers, and for the alphabet, you just have to repeat. You just have to repeat it here. The variable cannot be added to the constant, so we maintained 7 plus y. And on the other side of the equation, we have 10 plus 3, which is 13. So basically, we have a linear equation here in which we have one unknown variable. So we can easily solve this by making y the subject of the formula. And this gives us y is equal to 13 minus 7, which is equivalent to 6. So that means y is actually in base 6. And our answer will be C here. Now proceeding to the next question, it says an amount of 550,000 naira was realized when a principal X was saved at 2% simple interest for 5 years. Find the value of X. So picture yourself as a typical business-minded person, and you invested a particular amount of money as your principal, which is the capital that you start the business, but then it yields as much as this amount to you in form of interest. Now, don't forget, this interest was actually accrued from the capital at 2% simple interest for 5 good years. Now, the problem I have with this question is the interest is way too high if you look at it very well. And because the rate is actually quite small, not to talk of the number of years it took to generate the amount, so it's not also high. So I have problem with this question in the sense that the interest here, I guess should be 55,000 or 50,000, because this is a kind of permit me to say typo error. So but we'll work with something like this just to give us a feel of how the right answer should be like, perhaps if this comes in the right way. So let's proceed to the next slide. So you can see the simple formula, interest is equal to principal times rate times time all over 100 is going to be used, and from here we are looking for the principal, which is the x. So we make principal the subject of the formula by cross multiplying both sides. So by the time we do that, you see I times 100 to be here, divide both sides by RT, and here we have the principal to be equivalent to interest times 100 times divided by R times T. So our interest is 550,000 is here times 100. Our rate is given as 2%, and the time is given as 5 years. So by the time we carry out this operation, you discover that our answer is going to be 5.5 million. So it simply means at that rate of getting 550,000, then we will need as much an amount as 5.5 million naira to realize that. So as you can see, obviously in our options, there's nothing like that. And to make matters worse, the capital is not even up to the interest, yet the rate is not 100%, or maybe as high or close to 100. So the next possible answer to pick here is just option D, and that is why I went for this. But do well to find some questions on that. So do well to find some questions on that, because by so doing, you will discover that a lot of these kind of questions are very straightforward, nothing to make you crack your head too much on it. But it's not really that difficult at all. So we'll proceed into the next question. Question number 8, it says, given that root 3 plus root 5, everything divided by root 5 is equal to x plus y root 5. Question is, find the value of the summation of x plus y. So I think in a better way, we can see this. This is how it's written. Yeah, I know some people may be thinking, how is this? Because one may be tempted to say this is divided by root 5 all over root 5, but no, it's actually all the numerator here that we divided by root 5. And aside from that, if you look at the right hand side of the equality, you discover that here is given as 5, but we truly need something like 15 here from the original question if you look at it. So we just need to work on this to find the value of x and y, then we now add them to answer this question. So the first thing to do, we would like to clear this denominator. So we want to rationalize this by removing this, and to do that, we have to multiply both sides of the equation by root 5. So root 5 cancel root 5, and here we have root 3 plus root 5. And on the other side, root 5 times x, we have root 5 plus root 5 times y root 15 is going to give us 5y root 3. And the reason is because root 15 can be splitted into root 5 and root 3. So in that case, root 5 times the root 5 that is supposed to multiply it will give us 5, because that would have been root 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. Then we'll now have our y, and this root 3 will be the standard. Now what we need to do is to compare coefficients. As you can see, if we have this root 3 plus root 5 to be equivalent to x root 5 plus 5y root 3, it simply means that when we're looking at coefficient of root 5, it means anything that I see here is the same thing that I have here. So it means this x is actually equal to 1 here. Then by the time I make similar comparison here between root 3 and this other 5y root 3, you discover that it means the coefficient of root 3 here, which is 5y, is actually equivalent to 1 here. So this is what we have. And by the time we divide both sides by 5, discover that 5 cancel 5 and our y is going to give us 1 all over 5. So don't forget, we're not looking for the values of x and y, but we're looking for the values of x plus y. And this is given as 1 plus 1 over 5. This basically, by the time we look for the LCM, LCM is going to be 5. 1 into 5 is 5. By the time multiplied by the numerator, plus 5 into 5 is 1, times 1 is 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 all over 5. So this simply means one whole number, because 5 will go into 6, 1, remainder 1 all over 5. So our answer is basically x plus y to be one whole number, 1 over 5. So be very careful with this kind of option, because you discover that here we have just little variation from A to C, and as you can see, 1 whole number 3 over 4, 1 whole number 2 over 5, and 1 whole number 1 over 5. Now option D is, I guess, is somewhere or maybe something like 1 over 5 and not 1 whole number 1 over 5. So this 1 all over 5, there's nothing like one whole number here. So you don't just think WAEC will bring two similar options to confuse you. No, there's only one possibility in the exam and only one answer will be possible. So in this regard, this ought to be 1 over 5. So discard the 1 here. So let's proceed to the next question. It says, if x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 1, evaluate 2 open bracket x squared minus y cubed close bracket. So what we need to do is to make substitution and multiply the answer by 2, and we are there already. So this is our expression. Now when x is 3, just put 3 here, as you can see 3 squared. When y is minus 1, just put minus 1 here, as you can see minus 1 is power 3, it's still going to give us minus 1. Now our 3 squared is 9, minus times minus, we have plus, and then 9 plus 1, which is 10. 10 times 2, 20. So basically means the answer is going to be 20. So C is the answer. Now on to the last part of the question. It says solve 3x minus 2y is equal to 10 and x plus 3y is equal to 7 simultaneously. Now in solving simultaneous equation, we can use elimination method or substitution method. Either of the ways you can pick, or you can even use a combination of the two to proceed with your work. So with this, we choose to use the elimination method, and by so doing, this is our equation 1, the first given, equation 2, the second given. Now to use the elimination method, we pick the coefficient of this x to multiply equation 1, and in return we use coefficient of this x to multiply equation 2. So that's just what happens here. 1 times 3x is 3x, 1 times minus 2y is minus 2y, 1 times 10 is 10. So as you can see, now if we proceed with this same approach, discover that 3 times x is going to give us 3x. So we have 3x here, and then 3 times 3 is going to give us 9y, because 3 times 3y is going to give us 9y, and then we have 3 times 7, which is going to give us 21. So this gives us the expression here, 3x minus 2y is equal to 10, and 3x plus 9y is equal to 21. So we subtract equation 3 from equation 4, or subtract equation 4 from equation 3. Either of the way, you still get the same result. So if you look at this, here we have 3x minus 3x, which is 0, minus 2y minus 9y is going to give us minus 11y, and then 10 minus 21 is going to give us minus 11. So we divide both sides by minus 11 to find the value of y, and as you can see from here, minus cancel minus, 11 all over 11 gone, and then we have y is equal to 1 here. So with the value of y, we can use any of the equations generated to calculate for x. So looking at equation 2, x plus 3y is equal to 7. Since our y is 1, we put 1 here. So it means x plus 3 times 1 is equal to 7, which means x plus 3 is equal to 7. So x is equal to 7 minus 3, and that means our x is equal to 4. So x is 4 and y is 1. This is option D. So as you can see, be very careful about sign, because in most cases you'll see questions that will try to confuse you by the use of sign. Just the plus, the minus matters a lot, so you need to be very careful in this analysis. Comparing option A and option D, as you can see, they are very, very close, and one may miss a step and land on A. But be very careful if the answer is D. So with that, we have come to the end of our videos, but please don't forget, like and comment on our videos, and this will help us to keep us moving, bringing exciting editions of the same video to you. Until then, you have a nice day.